The translucent walls of the throne room aboard the Celestial Reach hummed with bioluminescent patterns, a visual language Kivin had spent 3 months learning to partially decode. He stood in the center of the vast chamber, his exosuit's life support systems whirring softly against the ammonia-rich atmosphere that the Velkhari breathed. Around him, dozens of courtiers, their bodies like living crystal sculptures, refracting the pale blue light into rainbows, watched with what he assumed was curiosity. Their neural patterns, visible through their semi-transparent bodies, pulsed in synchronized waves. Princess Anna sat upon the resonance throne, a structure that wasn't so much built as grown from the ship's living hull. Her form was smaller than the other Velkhari, more compact, but the complexity of her neural lattice was staggering. Even through the distortion of his helmet's display, Kivin could see the intricate patterns firing through her crystalline body, thoughts moving at speeds that made human cognition look glacial. Ambassador Kivin Chen of Earth, her voice came through his translator, though he knew she was actually modulating electromagnetic frequencies that his suit converted to sound. You have spent 92 of your solar days among us. You have learned our language, studied our customs, shared meals at our tables. Yet my xenopsychology advisors inform me that your cortisol levels spike by 47% whenever you enter my presence. The court's neural patterns flickered, amusement, perhaps, or anticipation. Kivin felt sweat bead on his forehead inside his helmet. You fear me, Anna continued, rising from her throne. As she moved, light bent around her in impossible ways, a side effect of the gravitational microdistortions her species naturally produced. This is curious. You do not fear Chancellor Morthek, who commands our fleets. You do not fear High Scientist Pelinar, who could unmake your molecular bonds with a thought. But you fear me, a princess with no military authority, no scientific prowess. Why? The question hung in the recycled air of Kivin's suit. Protocol dictated diplomatic deflection, but 3 months among the Velkhari had taught him that they valued truth above politeness. Their entire civilization had evolved past deception when their transparent bodies made lying physiologically visible. May I speak candidly, your luminescence? Kivin asked. Anna's neural patterns shifted to what his cultural database labeled as receptive curiosity. I would prefer nothing less. Kivin took a breath, tasting the metallic tang of his suit's oxygen recyclers. I fear you because you're going to outlive everyone I've ever known by approximately 40,000 years. The throne room's ambient hum changed pitch. Every courtier's neural pattern stuttered in synchronization. Surprise, his database whispered. Anna tilted her head, a gesture she'd learned from studying human body language. Explain. The Velkhari lifespan averages 42,000 standard years, Kivin began, his voice steadier now that he'd committed to honesty. You're currently, forgive me if I'm incorrect, approximately 700 years old. 734, Anna confirmed. In human terms, that makes you roughly equivalent to a 16-year-old, an adolescent. Kivin gestured around the throne room. Your chancellor is 12,000 years old. Your scientists have forgotten more than human civilization has discovered. But you, Princess Anna, are young by your people's standards. You're at the beginning of your life. He paused, organizing his thoughts. The court waited, neural patterns dim with concentration. When I look at you, I don't see an alien princess. I see someone who will watch the sun consume Earth's orbit 4 billion years from now. Someone who will witness stars I can name go supernova. Someone who will be alive when the cosmic microwave background radiation has redshifted into invisibility. And that terrifies me in a way that weapons or power never could. Anna descended from her throne, her footsteps creating ripples in the organic floor. She stopped 3 meters from Kivin, close enough that he could see individual neurons firing in her crystalline matrix. You fear my future, she said softly. I fear your perspective, Kivin corrected. Yesterday I spent 6 hours negotiating a trade agreement that might benefit both our species for the next century. A century. Your people measure construction projects in millennia. Your literature has story arcs that span 10,000 years. To you, human civilization, all of it, from the first stone tools to our fastest starships, is a brief flash. We're mayflies to you. He met her alien gaze, or what he interpreted as her gaze. And you, princess, you're younger than most humans achieve positions of authority, which means you'll have 40,000 years to look back on this moment, on me, on my entire species. Will be ancient history to you before you're middle-aged. That's why I fear you. Not because of what you can do, but because of what you'll remember when everything I know is dust. The silence in the throne room was absolute. Even the bioluminescent walls seemed to dim. Then Anna did something unprecedented. She reached up and touched her own chest, right where her primary neural cluster resided, a gesture of profound vulnerability among the Velkari. When she spoke, her translated voice carried harmonics his suit had never rendered before. Ambassador Chen, I must confess something that I have not shared even with my closest advisors. Her neural patterns swirled with colors his database couldn't categorize. I envy you. You what? You have 80 years, perhaps 100 if your medical technology continues improving. Every day matters to you. Every relationship is precious because you know it will end. You create urgency because time is finite. Her body flickered with bioluminescence. Do you know what it's like to know you'll outlive every friendship you make with your own kind? To calculate that you won't reach emotional maturity for another 1,000 years? To look at your parents and realize they have 35,000 years left, and you're barely a footnote in their lives so far? She turned to face her court. I read human poetry, Ambassador. You write about love and loss with an intensity we cannot match because you truly know, that nothing lasts. Your art is beautiful because it's desperate. Your music moves me because it's carved from the knowledge of your own mortality. Anna looked back at Kivin. You fear my longevity. I fear your brevity. You're terrified I'll forget you. I'm terrified that everything meaningful in my life will be compressed into such a small window that I won't fully appreciate it until it's a million years gone. Kivin felt something shift in his understanding. You're lonely. Profoundly, Anna admitted. Your species will evolve into something else or disappear before I'm considered a responsible adult. Every friendship I forge with a human is a countdown. So when I look at you, Ambassador Chen, I see someone racing toward an ending I cannot prevent. And that terrifies me more than any weapon or catastrophe because I can't stop it. I can only watch. The throne room remained silent. Chancellor Morthek's neural patterns showed what Kivin's database labeled as contemplative respect. So, Anna said, her voice carrying a note of something that might have been humor, we are both afraid of time. You fear you'll be forgotten. I fear I'll remember everything. Perhaps this is the foundation for understanding between our peoples. Kivin managed a smile she couldn't see through his helmet. Maybe fear isn't the obstacle to diplomacy we thought it was. Perhaps, Anna agreed, it's the beginning of honest relationship. She extended her hand, another learned human gesture. Will you help me write a treaty that matters, Ambassador? Something that will serve your people for the next century and mine for the next 10 millennia. Something I can look back on 40,000 years from now and remember. This was when I learned that brevity doesn't mean insignificance. Kivin reached out and took her crystalline hand in his gloved one. He felt the subtle gravitational pull of her biology, the warmth of her living structure through his suit's sensors. I would be honored, your luminescence. The court's neural patterns blazed with what could only be approval, and for the first time since arriving aboard the Celestial Reach, Kivin Chen felt his cortisol levels drop to normal. Fear, he realized, could be transformed into connection, and connection, however brief, was worth the inevitable grief of ending. And